Hey YouTube, how's it going? It's recently been brought to my attention that despite the fact that I can rant and rave for hours at a time about my deep-set love of Final Fantasy, I've never actually done an episode about it. Well, I'm going to remedy this. Now it's true, I could probably do an entire series on my love of Final Fantasy. I could do an episode about all of the animals, and an episode about the monsters, and an episode about each different game because I've played almost all of them, but that's not really the time or place right here. But who knows, maybe in the future someone will want to hire me to hear my opinions on Final Fantasy. Who knows? Before I truly start though, I would like to just explain my hat a little. This is a Moogle hat. If you've played Final Fantasy at all, you probably know what the Moogle is. They're little, I don't have wings, but they're little winged creatures. The word Moogle in Japanese, it isn't quite Moogle, it's like Moogly or something like that, but it's like mole and bat. And so they're kind of like a mole and a bat, except I don't really see how they look like a mole. But they're little creatures. They've got pom-poms on their head. In some games they look like kind of feline. In some they look more like little pigs. But they're in, I think they started coming in the third game. And they're very standard like chocobos. They're in all games. Yeah, that's right. I went out and I actually made this hat for this episode. So I hope you feel very appreciated because it took me a couple hours, but it's worth it. It's super cute. It won't fit anyone else's head probably because it's a little tight on me, but that's okay because I'm very much enjoying it right now. So, Final Fantasy, like I have said, and probably will say for a long time in the future, it's my favorite game series. It's a series by Squaresoft. They might be just Square right now. They've been Square Enix. They've been a lot of different names, but they always have the word Square in them. It is a video game series. It's an RPG game series, a role-playing game. Very fantasy-esque, hence the name Final Fantasy. There is no actual Final Fantasy, though. There always is another installment. But that's okay. I'm okay with it. I'm definitely a nerd for Final Fantasy. I have played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 2, 12, 13 Tactics, Crystal Chronicles Advance. I've started a file for Reverent Wings, and I've tried to play Dissidia, but my game doesn't work because my PSP won't update. In layman's terms, for those of you who have not had the joy of playing Final Fantasy, that means I've played a lot of them. I haven't played a couple of the spin-offs, like Final Fantasy VII, which has had like a movie and 2 or 3 games after it. I haven't played any of the games after it just because it's not my favorite, but, I mean, I like it, but it's not my favorite. But I have played a lot of this, quite a few of the spin-offs, at least. I just got done, actually, beating Final Fantasy X last night, night before, when I filmed this, and it was a lot of fun. The endings are always, they always get me a little because they're so happy, but they're so sad, and good things happen, but in the, not always in the best way, and they're just beautiful. The story writing's beautiful. That's the thing about Final Fantasy. They have such wonderful storylines. They've got gorgeous music. Oh my god. Gorgeous music. The composer for a long time, Uematsu, I think I'm saying it right, I'm not sure. But he just made fantastic music. I think he actually probably did the score. That's my opening theme, Cinco de Chocobo. I think it's Cinco, I'm not sure. But he did a lot of the music for him, and the music's wonderful, the storylines are wonderful, the characters are almost always very well developed, quirky a little. You've always got, you know, some stereotypes. You've got the serious one, and then you've got the fun person, and you've got the rascal and the thief, and just, you've always got a good set of characters, beautiful costumes. As graphics have improved, they've gotten just beautiful scenery, beautiful cutscenes, everything. As you can see, I can kind of get lost talking about it. It really is my favorite series. I really could just go on and on and on. My favorite Final Fantasy, like I said, it isn't 7, although I did enjoy 7. I've played it a few times, beat it all the way through. I really enjoyed 10, 12 was okay, 13 I actually liked. My favorite, though, is the first one I ever played back when I was in middle school. And I know it's a little later in the series, but my absolute favorite Final Fantasy is number 9. Now, up until 10 was released, Final Fantasy 9, of course, had the best graphics out of the series. The score, which it wasn't actually Uematsu, it's Koji Hajime. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm not positive. But he did the score, and it's just a very beautiful, heart-wrenchingly wonderful story. The game spans 4 discs. It was for PlayStation 1. It was the very last PlayStation 1 game before the PS2 came out. So, of course, I played on my PS2 because they're backwards compatible. It's got really great characters. The main characters have just this wonderful love story going on. It has a very heart-wrenchingly beautiful ending. The whole story is wonderful, but every time I see the ending I get chills because it's so great. And Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII had storylines that kind of deviated from what the original storylines were, and number 9 has a very classic feel to it, even though it's got the updated graphics, the updated score. It still plays out like one of the more original games I found as I've gone back and played the originals. Now, I find it very easy to list the positives of all the games because, like I said, they've all got some beautiful music and everything. Everything's wonderful about them. I personally happen to adore the music in almost all the games, but I'm trying to think of any that I didn't enjoy. The only one that really pops into mind is Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Ring of Fates, which is for the Game Boy DS, and it's an okay game, but it's really short. I mean, I think I finished it in like 20 hours, which, to give you a clue, like I said, I just finished Final Fantasy X and I put 80 hours into it. And mind you, the final boss was really easy. I could have probably beat it at 60 hours, but 20 hours is pretty short for a game for them. So I didn't enjoy that one. I know that Final Fantasy VIII gets a really hard time, and I was only so-so about that one. It was okay. It wasn't my favorite. It wasn't the worst one. I can't really think of any others, though, that pop into my mind as just I got done playing it and was totally dissatisfied. But even having had one sour experience, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be playing Final Fantasy till the end of time, until Square goes out of business, until they stop making video games. Heck, half the reason I have a PS3 is because I knew Final Fantasy 13 was coming out on it, and then it came out on Xbox too. But that's okay because it's worth it. I love Final Fantasy. I love Final Fantasy. I'm a nerd. I know. I admit it fully. I have a hat to prove it. I mean, but I think they will probably always be my favorite games. I've played other games and I've liked them, but none so much as Final Fantasy. My name is Keps and I approve this message.